in the middle.
Good morning.
Hey, guys.
Good morning.
Hi.
We made it.
Talking about infrastructure, talking about building roads, he wants to do all of this. Chuck, I'll start with you. Can he do this?
You know, it's interesting. I spent a lot of last year traveling around with a 74-year-old senator from Vermont who talked a lot about infrastructure. There's a lot of Democrats on the Hill who realize that this is something that we can put people back to work. We can invest into our infrastructure so commerce can move easily up and down the highways. I do think it's a commonality that we can figure out how to pay for it. It would be something easily done.
Keep in mind, you were traveling around with the socialists.
Absolutely.
So the price didn't matter.
We look conservative.
But, Madison, this is one of the things that people who supported Trump love, because for too long, you know, nobody's paid attention to us. Now we're going to pay attention to us and our roads and our bridges and our airports.
Yeah, I think the promise to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure is something that every single American will benefit from. But what I think we need to keep in mind is it's not something that needs to be done only with taxpayer dollars. And what they've been talking a lot about is the fact that we can get, you know, companies and people to invest in this and then give them a federal, you know, tax break.
So a private public bank, I mean, are we talking about that possibly, Morgan?
I think that potentially, but I think you have to look at this not just as the infrastructure plan. Like, you have to look at what am I going to do the first 100 days? And I think that we should look at this with the tax reform package that he's looking at as well, right?
Good.
When you look at entitlements, the reform that we need to have there. So I think, yes, we can get something passed in 100 days, but it also needs to be looked at in the broader context of what this administration is trying to do. Right. Radical change when it comes to the tax plan, and we're going to have to get these entitlements under control.
Chuck, the other problem is we heard about the shovel-ready projects. An $800 billion check was written, and even the president admitted there were none. If you just say get the infrastructure done without a specific mandate from state to state, what's going to be built, something tangible, this would be a political disaster for this president.
I think it could be, but I think that what you need is a real evaluation of where are the projects that have the most critical needs, the bridges, right? Remember years ago.
We didn't do that 8 years ago.
Exactly right. And I would agree with that as a Democrat, but I think that's the key to that, is focus on those places that need it the worst, and then you back up from there, and while you're doing that, guess what? I've built things in my life. I used to pour concrete. Look at the other things that need to be fixed along the way, and these are getting ready while you start working on the bridges that are in the worst shape now.
I used to pour concrete too, Chuck.
Absolutely. Always look at that. Things in common.
Morgan, you mentioned the word radical. So did Donald Trump yesterday. He said he wants to eradicate radical Islam. What were your thoughts?
I think that it's really important to actually say the name of your enemy. When you're going into the boxing ring, right, you need to know who you're going to fight. But saying the name only is not what's going to deliver the knockout punch. So we're going to have to look at what we're going to do in Iraq and Syria. We've made gains against ISIS over the past few months, for sure. But we look at why did we get to this place in the first place? We have Sunni Arab allies who are funding radical messages around the world, and we're going to have to talk to them and say this can no longer be tolerated.
And Madison, before we go, his speech yesterday touched a lot of people's hearts. Optimistic they are about the next 4 years. What do you think?
I thought the speech was absolutely incredible, and I think what it really hit on was a lot of the messages which we actually at the Presidential Inaugural Committee tried to reflect. We have a president-elect, who's now our president today, who has a desire to unify this nation. He has a desire to make America great again and just really bring people together, and I think that's what that reflected.
And real brief, Chuck, they were saying that Bernie Sanders could have delivered some of that speech. That's how similar that was, right?
I watched a lot of Bernie Sanders speeches over the last 13 months while I was there, and a lot of it was the same. Not all of it, but there's commonality, and I think that's when we start building these concrete bridges.
All right. Chuck Rocha, who spent a quiet day at home last night crying in his beer. Also, Madison and Morgan, thank you very much for joining.
Crying in his beer.
Why not?